Okay, Robert Costanza is a man of hope. As an ecologist in the University of Maryland, he knows that the human race continues to cause destruction to our environment. Instead of giving up, however, he and other scientists have taken a new practical approach to the fight to save the environment. They look honestly at the realities of economics and human needs and search for new ways to keep the planet's biodiversity safe. Constanza's work focuses on understanding the economic value of ecological systems, such as filtering water and providing natural resources. Because these ecosystems services have no traditional market value, their protection is often ignored. To show the economic advantages of conservation, Costanza and others are attempting to calculate the worth of ecosystem services. Their dollar value, as one conservationist biologist explains, assigning values even if they are not exact, helps make it clear that losing this stuff will cost us a lot. This approach was successful in New York City. A study of ecosystem services calculated that building a water treatment plant would cost between $6 and $8 billion. Instead, the city will spend $1.5 billion protecting land that has always filtered its water naturally. More and more, these scientists are finding that economic arguments work well in the fight to save the environment. At the Royal Botanic Gardens in London, scientists have set themselves an impressive challenge of collecting and storing seeds from all the flowering plants of Great Britain. According to Roger Smith, director of the Millennium Seed Bank, it's possible indeed the seeds from 60% are already in hand. In part, that's because these are small islands with relatively few species, but it also shows what can be done. In a building nearby are there seed banks, cold rooms, where the temperature is -20 degrees. The seeds are kept cold and dry, which will preserve them for at least 200 years. That buys us some time to understand the effects of worldwide plant loss, and the time, I hope, to restore or save them, says Smith. Now, the seed bank scientists have set their sights still higher, collecting 10% of the world's plants by the year 2010. We're losing ecosystems worldwide at a phenomenal rate, and when they go, the plants go. This gives us the possibility of restoring them at some future date. No one knows, of course, when that date might be. That's why a key part of the seed bank is storing seeds. The goal, he adds, is not to have seeds sitting in the cold in little foil packets. It's to see the plants again in the wild. From her home on Mount Isrong in the Philippines, Nati Dumalagan can see Isong's dense forest. She has lived here 30 years, but has never set foot there. Though it is protected national park and is also the home of many endangered species. I'd like to go, but the trails are very steep, she says. Her ideas about the forest have changed. Some years ago, Dumalagagan's husband and other men in the surrounding villages were cutting trees there. Their logging of Isarog's forest caused more than 40% of the bird species to vanish between 1961 and 1988. The last old-growth forests were logged out by the end of the 1980s. Then an ecological disaster struck the Philippines. During a typhoon in 1991, water swept down 2 rivers, carrying rocks, broken trees, and mud into the heart of a town of Ormac. As many as 7,000 people died. This was a direct result of the destruction of the forest, and it made a very big impression. Now the local villagers are working with the Haribon Foundation to manage Isarog's forests. The logging has largely stopped. Dumalalagan's husband and other villagers work as volunteer guards, helping to stop the illegal cutting of timber. Yes, it means less money for us, Dumalalagan says, but we know what will happen if we continue to cut Isarog's trees. In Costa Rica, Dan Jansen and his wife, Winnie Halwicks, both ecologists, take a simple approach to saving the environment. But every piece of trashed land we can, says Jansen, a man fighting to save the tropical dry forest in Costa Rica. Wearing an unbuttoned shirt, he stomps through the woods. His glasses are spotted, his shoulder-length hair, white hair, messy. But his energy is intense. Yes, we want to save this forest to find a new drug or attract new tourists. But this isn't the real reason. There's only one objective, that this biodiversity survive. At one time, dry forests like this made up more than half of the tropics forest, Jansen says, but less than 2% of it remains. A lot of scientists said nothing would ever grow there again. But local ranchers told me, of course the forests will come back. That's why we burn our pastures every year. With this in mind, Jansen and Halwicks raised money to purchase Gunacaste lands, establish a 120-member staff, and set up a $12 million management fund. You have to buy land people don't want, he says. Forget flat land, someone's always going to want to farm it. With this practical approach, the couple has saved an area covering 323,600 acres. Overall, it's small, but it offers a piece of hope for a green future.